Kathleen Shepard, Stephen Hadley, and Kara Branch, whose names were left off the programs. Before we go into our first act, we would like to present Miss Jostrand with some flowers from the senior class for all her hard work and trouble she went through to help us with this. To begin our program, we will look at the past 12 years with Nikki Hensley and Terry Perry.
In the beginning, in a galaxy far, far away.
Wait a minute, Terry. Isn't that more like a school right over there?
Well, okay. I was just trying to liven up a bit. In the beginning, these students were in our class. Sharon Anderson, Sissy Anderson, Tracy Anderson, Angel Beeler, Anita Bryant, Kevin Bryant, Lawrence Bryant, Scott Butler, Diane Cagle, Todd Cole, Shamika Coleman, Stacy Corley, Tracy Corley, Amanda Cummings, Tyrese Davis, Angie Dennis, Tammy Dexter, Jarrett Delaney, James Felton, Brandy Finch, Casey Finley, Brian Fluhart, Eric Ford, Amy Gilson, Nathan Gilson, Brian Glover, John Glover, Wendy Gooden, Amelia Grimes, Stacy Hamilton, April Hemfield, Nikki Hensley, Vicki Hester, Chris Hicks, Keith Holden, Derek Holmes, Cynthia Howard,
Deanna Engel, Leslie Jackson, Shirley Jackson, Brian Johnson, Larry Johnson, Alicia Jones, Ben Kittler, Lisa Lee Hugh, Marcia Madar, Stephen Mashburn, Kevin McCall, Demetra Miller, Dwayne Miller, Wesley Miller, Lamont Moody, Jennifer Parks, Stacy Plowski, Terry Peary, Patrick Perry, Dana Perryman, Craig Pinson, Cassandra Pitts, Cindy Rambo, Brian Reisner, Reginald Sabb, Kim Smith, Rhonda Smith, Corey Spring, Beth Tennyson, Wendy Walker, Kim Watson, Kelly Weaver, Julie White, Keith White, Shane Whitehurst, Sandra Wittenberg, Curtis Williams, and Katina Woolfolk.
Kindergarten wasn't easy for everyone.
Yeah, and we all reacted to the stress of kindergarten in different ways. Most of us cried, but others found a different release for the pressure. Corey Pack tried to blind Sharon Anderson with a pair of scissors, and she had to wear a patch over her eye for a long time.
Stacy Pulaski got his mouth washed out for saying darn.
And he was only trying to mimic you, Terry.
And Amanda Cummings got a paddling for trying to make Marcia Madar wake up at nap time.
And Marcia was only pretending to be asleep. Joining our class in the first grade were Kim Corpier, Sharon Terry, and Mark Williams. Leaving our class was Corey Spring.
Now, the first grade was a little easier for most of us.
Yeah, but Shamika Coleman was still throwing up every time she slid down the tornado slide.
In the second grade, Carrie Manning and Jennifer Odom joined our class. Jennifer Stivers also joined the class, but then soon left.
Well, I remember the second grade well. I remember that Chris Hicks had a huge crush on Marcia Madar. I especially remember that he used to try to mimic everything she did. And one particular day at lunch, when Marcia yawned with a hamburger in her hand, and Chris tried to do the same, his hamburger patty flew out of the bun and hit a teacher on the head at the table behind us. Well, I also remember when Chris came to school and found out it was Friday the 13th. He hid under his desk the entire day, except at recess, of course.
And I remember when Shane Wyhurst and I tied Nathan Gilson upside down to the monkey bars by his shoelaces. When the bell rang, we went in and left him there. The teachers finally had to cut his shoelaces to get him down.
And Terry, I'm sure that you remember when Carrie Manning sat in bubblegum, you got blamed for it. In the third grade, Leslie Brannon, Cisco McLean, Michelle McDaniel, and Jim Mausenheimer joined the class.
In the third grade, some of us started to notice that some of the opposite sex had found a cure for the cooties. In fact, Angie Dennis was so in love with John Glover that she followed him to the boys' bathroom.
Speaking of restrooms, in the third grade, each class had a particular time that the entire class would go to the restroom. All of the guys lined up against one wall and the girls against another.
One day, when Lisa Leahy came out of the restroom, she leaned against the wall like she always did. Several minutes went by before someone finally told Lisa that her dress had gotten stuck in the back of her stockings.
Not only was the restroom still a problem, but some of us still had trouble with the cafeteria as well.
Like the time when Kelly Weaver got up to get seconds on rolls. When she went to sit back down, she got a little confused and wound up eating Todd Cole's chicken. In the 4th grade, Jeff Crane, Mariah Fortney, and Kenneth McDaniel joined the class. Casey Finley and Jenny Odom left.
In the 4th grade, Amanda Cummings was a very confused child.
On the first day of school, Amanda went out to recess, and when the bell to go in rang, she thought it was time to go home. When she realized she had made a mistake, she got so embarrassed, she refused to go back inside.
She stood outside with her books until 3:30, waiting for her mom to pick her up.
That's not the only time that Amanda got confused.
Once, when Miss Carmichael made Amanda sit in the corner, she thought that she'd done something wonderful and went home bragging about it.
Yeah, was she surprised when her mother got onto her?
Well, April Hemphill had everything figured out in the 4th grade. On field day, April and Shamika Coleman were in a 3-legged race together. When April saw that they were getting absolutely nowhere with both of them trying to run, she picked up Shamika and carried her.
Thanks to April's great efforts, they won.
Well, 4th grade was when we all figured out that Marcia Madar would be the quickest to win in a fainting contest.
Once when Marcia cut herself in Mrs. Brown's class with a pair of scissors, she passed out cold at the sight of her own blood. Miss Brown laid Marcia on a table in Miss Carmichael's class in front of the entire class.
Hey, Marcia, how many times have you fainted? In the 5th grade, Carrie Harris, Brad Ivy, and Mallory Lawson joined the class, and Larry Johnson left.
These are the do-nothing years. In the 6th grade, Jeff Cleveland, Michelle Dennis, Tanya Lips, Kim Schroeder, and Keith Shelton joined the class, and Casey Finley rejoined the class.
In the 7th grade, Sharon Anderson left, and Leah Chapman, Sean Harris, Jermaine Shepard, and Kyle Englehart joined the class. Right after Kyle Englehart moved here, he tried to impress everyone in athletics by throwing the basketball from half court, but instead of the ball going through the hoop, it went through the gym window instead.
Hey, Kyle, do you remember when Shane and all the other guys only knew you as the skater fat dude and the other Kyle? The 7th grade was when most of us started to feel grown up. Some of us started taking liberties upon ourselves at school that we had never taken before.
I remember when Chris Hicks, Tanya Lips, Michelle Dennis, Angel Beeler, Dale Crane, Kevin Scarborough, and I were in 1st period study hall together. One day when Miss Diedrich, the librarian, was gone out, we all performed our version of the movie Breakfast Club. We danced on tables, pushed each other in the book carts, and generally wreaked havoc.
In the 8th grade, Cassandra Pitts left, and Sharon Anderson, Eddie Spencer, and Chastity Elmore joined the class. Terry Walker also. I'm sure Rhonda Smith remembers in 8th grade when Keith Shelton threw a tree frog in her hair and it stuck in her scalp.
In the 9th grade, Shirley Jackson and Terry Walker both left but then came back, and Larry Johnson and Jennifer Stivers both returned.
Hey, Alicia, do you remember performing Let's Get Physical for Anita Bryant, Shamika Coleman, Demetra Miller, April Hemphill, and Wendy Gooden?
Speaking of performances, during the honors English play, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Angie Dennis got her finger stuck in the curtain rope.
Amanda Cummings slipped on whipped cream.
A pie that was meant to land in Craig's face landed in Angie's face.
Stacy Plasky started laughing and couldn't stop.
And the phone wouldn't ring. Craig Pinson had to yell ring when he was the one who was supposed to answer it to begin with.
And all of us in Miss Stock's geometry class remember when Stacy Plasky was trying to flip off Deanna Engel and Angie Dennis and got his fingers stuck in the hole in the desk.
Miss Stocks had to borrow lotion from the lunchroom ladies just to get his finger out.
9th grade was also a time in our lives when we started worrying about getting our driver's license and taking driver's ed. I'm sure Sissy Anderson was worried about whether she would pass driver's ed or not when she hit a pothole with all the car windows down and water splashed all over everything.
Including Coach Wilson. 11th grade was a very exciting year. Many things happened, for example, the bomb threats. These things kept us on our toes. All of us except Wendy Walker, that is.
While walking up in the bleachers during the bomb threat, she tripped and fell in front of the entire class. She tried to play it off as if she wasn't really hurt.
But we all knew.
During Chris Hicks' 11th grade year, he learned a little about foreign diplomacy. Narval taught him that you have to have a sense of humor to be a host family when Narval placed a condom in Chris's wallet without telling him. When Chris got out his wallet to pay his way into a basketball game, the condom fell out onto a table in front of Miss Strickland and Miss Bryant.
It was also a very very colorful year. It was mostly because Leah Chapman would bring a rainbow into the room every time she smiled.
Of course, that's because she had multicolored bands on her braces.
Well, Miss Jo Durstrand was so fascinated with Leah's bands that she wanted to put a picture of them in the annual. The only way that Miss Durstrand could talk Leah into posing for the picture was by promising her that only her teeth and braces would appear.
But when the annual came out, it featured an entire half of a color page with Leah's braces, along with a very wide grin and bulging eyes. And finally, we reached the 12th grade. Carol Branch, Roderick Daniels, Victoria Dublin, Stephen Hadley, Rex Kaiser, Chris McLean, Jiminy Ava, Colleen Rule, Juliet Smith, Leslie Hazelslip, and Tracy Smith joined the class. Jermaine Shepard rejoined the class.
We're almost out of school, and believe it or not, some of us still had trouble understanding how the cafeteria worked. Senior year was the first time that Sissy and Tracy Anderson have ever eaten in the cafeteria. They picked up their trays and carried them through the line like at Bonanza. They reached the end of the line before they realized they weren't supposed to carry their trays, and that the trays had already fixed for them at the end of the line.
By our senior year, many of us had vehicles that we were very proud of. Well, we were proud to have transportation anyway. Kevin Bryant particularly loved rolling in his car. But one day on his way to school, Kevin stopped at a stop sign.
But his hubcap kept rolling. And we all remember when Stacy Plowsey was marching across the football field in Gosnell during a game, and his band pants fell down around his ankles.
Hit it. I think that's about all.
No, wait 1 minute there, Terry. I was also asked to mention the time you fell asleep during 5th period calculus. We all hear that you were surprised when you woke up in the middle of 6th period. Well, here we are at the end of our senior year, and I'm sure that today and graduation will also hold many memorable things that we'll laugh and cry over in future years when we reflect upon our years of growing up.
My friends, our separation is upon us. For the past 13 years, we've been held together by a school system that almost everyone claims to hate, but everyone also secretly loves. It was in the school years that we learned to read, learned to count, and learned to love each other. I remember the first day of school. Everything was new to us. The school, the people, the clothes, everything. We were all scared, but we pretended to be brave. Most of us anyway. I remember a few crying tots. We couldn't believe we had 13 more years of this stuff. As the school year went on, we became more at ease with one another. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad after all. 7 years dragged by in an instant, and we're in the 6th grade. I remember thinking, 6 more years! But I also remember playing chase and Nerf football. We all loved that dusty playground. Girls and boys started to grow awkward around each other. The girls started looking different to the guys. They were kind of pretty. Maybe the next 6 years wouldn't be so bad. 3 more years ago, and we're in the 9th grade. Freshmen. We're on top of the world. No one could touch us. The beginning of our adulthood had begun. The summer before 10th grade was magic. Almost everyone had the fun of high school students, but the responsibility of junior high kids. Most of us blossomed that summer. When we came back to school, we were all young adults. Everything was new to us at high school, but we still had each other and managed to survive the taunting of the juniors and seniors. Life started to move faster, and we never seemed to have enough time to do everything. I started to notice that some of my friends began to drift apart. We didn't have the same classes, and we had jobs, so we started losing touch with one another. I hated this with a passion. If growing up meant you didn't have time for some of your friends, I would just as soon stay a kid. Now we're seniors. It's our final year together. This year went by faster than any of the other ones. I couldn't get enough of anything. I started thinking back to when we were little kids. Sometimes I'd cry. Every day I began having nostalgic memories of all my friends at school. I'd waited so long to graduate, but now that it's upon us, I'd somehow like it to go on forever. Only then would I have enough time to be with my friends, all of you. True, we've had our differences from time to time. We've even fought. But as I read this, I can easily say I love each and every one of you, and I'll truly miss you, my friends.
future in the class prophecy presented by Kyle Engelhardt and Craig Pinson.
Picture this, 2025, Worldwide Conference on Business and Industry. What? Yeah, I got stock in TCBY.
What stock did you say you had?
TCBY.
It's amazing how they jumped 75 and 3/8 points in one day.
Yeah, it's amazing. My broker got me in on the ground floor, though.
I just don't understand how that could happen.
Well, see, it's the acoustics of the variable.
Wait. Say that again?
Oh, it's nothing, really.
No, really. Say that again.
Well, it's the acoustics of the variable.
Transcribed by the monomial?
Yeah.
Kyle? Craig? Hey, how you doing?
Oh, man, it's been so long.
It's been such a long time. I wonder how everyone else is doing.
I haven't, well, come to think of it, the other day, I just heard something about, you remember that guy, what's his name? Stephen Mashburn.
Stephen, yeah.
Yeah, he became the editor-in-chief of Time magazine because he finally interpreted Miss Buchanan's critique system and found he had a hidden knack for English.
Well, I know something else. Angel Beeler and Jeff Cleveland, they finally tied the knot after 7 years of engagement. Angel's now the owner of a top accounting firm in Little Rock. And Jeff, well, he's the best house husband Angel could ever ask for. Washing clothes and taking care of the children are his favorite things to do now. They have a very happy life.
I bet. Jennifer Odom becomes the first ever woman agri teacher in Lonoke and serves faithfully for 50 years until one day the cows didn't come home and neither did she.
You remember Brad Ivy? He went on to Washington, D.C., where he joined one of the military's think tanks. He became one of the military's top scientists. But his rise to fame was surrounded by a certain phrase that he would always say, which was, I was just thinking about that.
Kenneth McDaniel starts out scalping tickets at country concert, but loves it so much he decides to go into the music business himself. His new group, Crazy Horse, tops the charts with a ballad called Darlin'.
Brian Fluhart went on to the major leagues, where he beat Nolan Ryan's strikeout record in just 5 years.
Catrice McElhaney will go down in history as the funniest woman that ever lived. As most popular comedian, she makes her millions by making unauthorized biographies of presidents' wives.
Casey Finley finally made it to the Indy 500, where he was leading the pack until the last 3 laps when Casey's pit crew manager, Jared Delaney, called him in to replace a windshield wiper that had just fallen off. When asked why he brought Casey in, Jared said, "I just wanted the car to look nice when it crossed the finish line."
Gemma Nieva leaves the United States and comes back 15 years later as the Spanish ambassador to the United States. Although the majority of her spare time is spent playing tennis with Brad Ivy, she always finds time to take a spur-of-the-moment trips to Germany.
Kevin Bryant went to Hollywood and became a director. He was acclaimed in his debut as the new Spike Lee. His movie was titled, "Do the Right Thing, or I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, because this is my new Jack City." Kevin always did have a way with words.
Yeah. Rhonda Smith opens her own line of fast food burger drive-ins, Rhonda Burgers.
Do you remember that guy, Kyle Engelhardt? Well, he joined NASA and became one of their most important astronauts. The mission he's currently on is the first multinational deep space mission, which will take him and his female companions 7 years to complete. His female companions are from Russia and France. From Russia is Sasha, the chimpanzee, and from France, Fifi, the French poodle.
Keith White is a proud new owner of Exxon filling stations. He has extended his company to include minor body repair and siding company.
Roderick Daniels and Tyrese Davis, Keith Holden and Derek Holmes formed the hottest singing group ever to hit AM radio. They're a barbershop quartet called Heaven Sent.
Cisco McLean begins a new chain of restaurants. Although he's the owner, he still serves food. He started from the bottom but worked his way to the top because he had experience. His menu reads, Monday, hamburger on bun. Tuesday, taco salad. Wednesday, chicken nuggets. Thursday, Salisbury steak. But Friday, he rakes in the most money because it's burrito day.
Scott Butler and Jeff Crane opened up their own private detective agency where they try to help people who think their spouses are cheating on them get a quick divorce.
Chris McLean becomes a bouncer at Cisco McLean's new restaurant.
After high school, Eric Ford joined the police. When he was kicked off the force for insubordination, he went back to fighting criminals who escaped justice by becoming a bounty hunter.
Shane Whitehurst becomes a driving instructor for Lonoke. On weekends, he and Larry Johnson.
Deanna Engel went to college and received a degree in forestry and went to work in a national forest. While working there, she became the poster girl for the National Forestry Commission. Her slogan is, "Strike that match, and there goes a patch of trees."
Cindy Rambo owns a used car lot. Of course, she only sells station wagons.
Todd Cole and Lawrence Bryan went to the 1996 Olympic team and both won a gold medal. Todd won in the hurdles and LB won in wrestling.
Michelle McDaniel started up a new beauty salon craze, a new hair coloring dye called Mood Hair that changes color depending on your mood.
Shamika Coleman and Anita Bryant became famous fashion models and moved to Paris, where they met and fell in love with a couple of French photographers who just love vocal American women.
Jennifer Parks leaves Lonoke and never returns. Some say she has a camp for pyromaniacs who like to twirl things.
After a year in college, Stacey Hamilton ran off to New York to find herself. When the searching was complete, Stacey found herself a part of the Radio City Rockettes kicking up her heels.
Katina Woolfolk has expanded her inclination to get in the ring with Mike Tyson and beats him.
Tim Calvin and Sean Harris decided to go to business together and moved to Arizona, where they started up their own dude ranch called the Lone Rabbit Ranch.
Keith Shelton opens a chain of stores called Great Deals. The merchandise for sale includes car stereos, speakers, equalizers, and amps. The auditor for the company complains that he can't understand how Keith makes 100% profit. No one asks why he drives a new car every week.
Cynthia Howard and Leslie Jackson decided to go into politics and became campaign managers for Jesse Jackson's presidential election campaign in 1996.
Stacy DeLon Pulowski opens a studio for wannabe woman singers. It's called Daddy's Angels. So far we haven't heard anything come out of this program that's worth listening to.
Tracy and Stacy Corley went to Hollywood to audition for the Double Mint gum commercials, but they were turned down. After the rejection, they went to Idaho and became potato farmers.
Terry Delampierre goes through college without a master. He ends up with a PhD in all areas. He and his fellow companions take over a third world country after the government denied funds for his program, Eugenics R Us. A spokesman for the government was quoted as saying, "The program is morally, ethically, and socially unacceptable. Not only that, those guys are nuts."
After graduation, Vicki Hester and Tammy Dexter decided to open up their own shoe store. Vicki's the manager and Tammy is a saleswoman. Their business took off so well that they now have a chain of 32 stores around the country.
Craig Pinson, after becoming a multi-billionaire from finding a cure for the common cold, found that Robin Leach Jr. bugged him too much and decided to fund the takeover of a third world country. Coincidentally, this country was the same one that Terry Perry took over. This country, headed by three extremely perfect children of the takeover, becomes a superpower and eventually the head of government of the world.
Nikki Hensley and Chris Hicks left together from Broadway. They have both been called by many of Broadway's reviewers as the next Tommy Toon and Twiggy. You can see them now in a reprisal of The Taming of the Shrew.
Kim Schroeder becomes the first veterinarian on the planet Mars. The problem is there aren't any animals on there. So he spends his time teaching at U of M, University of Mars. He teaches a course in extraterrestrial biology.
Amanda Cummings also left for Broadway, but she didn't like it that much. So instead, she turned to and married one of the men who had come to her performances, Donald Trump.
Dwayne Miller was shopping in the local IGA. He went down the bread aisle and hasn't been heard from since.
After college, Angie Dennis took her degree in international relations and started to work for the Holiday Inn hotel chain. She worked her way up through the ranks and became vice president of public relations for the chain.
Demetria Miller becomes Miss America and is a representative of her own state, Arkansas. She had to give up her crown after she was accused of using all her advertising money to build the world's largest dance studio in her hometown of Lonoke.
Leslie Brannon and Diana Cagle both became professional fisherwomen, hitting all the major big mouth bass and trout tournaments. They said they didn't do it for the money. They do it because of the thrill of the sport.
Wesley Miller becomes the next president of Walmart Incorporated after 40 years of faithful service in the automotive center.
After graduation, Amy and Nathan Gilson took a cruise to celebrate being out. Their ship went through the Bermuda Triangle and was lost. They were never seen again.
Patrick Perry takes the lead role in Kevin Bryant's new movie. Kevin has to fire him because he ad-libs too much in the script.
Brian Johnson and Jimmy Felton went to Burbank to audition for The Tonight Show and made it. They're now close and personal friends with Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon. The only letdown is that now that they know Ed, they can't win the American Family Publisher sweepstakes.
Dana Perryman becomes a proud co-owner of the world's largest produce company. She and her husband can now proudly boast that Lonoke will never again be noted for just its minnows.
Shirley Jackson and Chastity Elmore decided to become treasure hunters. They went down to the beaches of Florida, and while searching a stretch of beach, found a bottle with a map in it that led to a chest of gold doubloons that was estimated to be worth $10 million. The only problem was that the government had been following them and quickly confiscated the gold.
Brian Reisner joins the military and finds that he can't be all he can be, so he moves to Hawaii and becomes a pineapple farmer.
Victoria Dublon went back to Spain and became a lawyer. She put to use all the knowledge she had learned from watching LA Law and Matlock to become Spain's best defense lawyer.
Reginald Sabb gets a $30 million contract for the San Francisco 49ers. Reg the Slab Sabb is the most feared lineman in all of football history. He retires at age 77, is now known as Reg the Slob Sabb, affectionately, of course.
After college graduation, Brian Glover came back to Lonoke and started his own cattle ranch. With his cousin John Glover doing his finances, Brian expanded his operation and soon became the sole provider of beef to all the countries of northern Africa. John embezzled some of Brian's money and became rich by playing the stock market.
Jermaine Shepard moves to Detroit and becomes a leading force against gang violence in North America. Instead of throwing signs, he walks around with his hands in his pockets, signifying his hatred for gangs.
Sissy Anderson joined the political race after college and became the state's first woman lieutenant governor, governor, and senator. It's rumored that Sissy plans on running for president in the 2008 election.
Eddie Spencer, Corey Springs, Tiana Stewart, Jennifer Stivers, Beth Tennyson, Sherry Terry, Wendell Walker, Kim Watson, Kelly Weaver, Sandra Wittenberg, Curtis Williams, and Mark Williams are sent to the lobby of the wrong hotel for the name tags at the 20-year reunion and haven't been heard from since.
Michelle Dennis took what she learned in calculus in high school to become a math major in college. She's now teaching at MIT and writing her own high school edition calculus book.
Tracy Smith becomes a backup singer for Mariah Carey. After 5 years, it's found out that Mariah never sang a bar. Tracy receives all royalties from all of Mariah's albums and buys a house in Beverly Hills, that is.
Brandy Finch went to Nashville, where she's now a top recording artist in country music. She will be opening her own theme park, Brandyland, soon.
Terry Walker goes in half and half with Julie White to open a bar called J&T's Star-Studded Honky Tonk, with a liquor store next to it called First and Really the Last.
Tracy Anderson opted to skip college and went to Hollywood. While there, she auditioned for Vanna White's letter-turning position on Wheel of Fortune. Tracy got it and is now America's spelling sweetheart.
Jennifer White marries her high school sweetheart, a very successful man. The surprise came when they both got what they wanted, twins, one boy and one girl. The rest you'll have to find out at the 20-year reunion.
Wendy Gooden and April Hemphill decided to go into a partnership together and became interior designers. They now decorate the houses of many important and influential people.
Marcia Madar, after attending college, becomes a Laker girl and opens a dance company with Paula Abdul.
After graduation, Amelia Grimes took her talent for talking and turned it into writing. She has now become one of the nation's top novelists. She's already had 3 books on the bestsellers list. And Mariah Fortney founded her own thoroughbred ranch not far from Churchill Downs in Kentucky. 2 of Mariah's horses have made it to the Kentucky Derby, but only one has won. That horse was jockeyed by Carrie Harris, who after that race became more famous than Willie Shoemaker. And that's the prophecy.
That's it.
Most things are a little good and a little bad. This year was no different. To present both sides are the class optimist, Carrie Manning, and the class pessimist, Kevin Bryant. Well, it's been a wonderful year.
If you say so, I'm just ready to get out of here.
We've had a lot of good times.
And a lot of bad times.
What's bad about this school?
For one thing, the food stinks.
It's not that bad, and it prepares us for college.
Okay, what about the parking lot?
What's wrong with it?
It's so full of potholes, and so dirty that there's no point in even washing your car during the week.
Well, just think of all the water you save.
That's a good point.
Why are you so negative? Just try to say one thing about our school.
Okay, let me see. We have the only movie theater in Lonoke.
Really? I didn't know that. What's it called?
It's called the Agri Building. They show more films over there than the Lakewood Theater.
Kevin, that isn't very nice.
But it's very true.
The school couldn't be as bad as you say. If it is, why do they have OM here?
So they have a reason to get rid of the worms. I guess we weren't important enough.
What do you mean?
They didn't get rid of the worms until the day before, and then you couldn't even stand the smell.
You have a point there.
You know another thing that bugs me?
What?
This school is just too dang small.
Well, at least you know everybody.
Yes, you're right. You know everybody and everybody's business. Even the teachers know the latest gossip.
That's not bad. You get individual attention from teachers.
Yeah, you're right. You get attention so they can get in your business. And let me tell you about the restrooms around here.
What's wrong with them?
We can't get hot water, and sometimes we can't get any water at all. And the tissue paper is so hard I can't tell it from my textbooks.
Okay, let's talk about the people around here. They're nice.
They're nice, all right. They're nice and immature.
How's that?
Some of the people act like they belong at the elementary across campus.
Hey, the students aren't bad at all. You can feel safe at all times. You don't even have to put a lock on your locker.
You're right. I know about that. The lock they gave me at the beginning of the year didn't even have a door on it.
There has to be something you like.
There is.
What's that?
Bands. But there's a problem there, too.
Now, what's the problem with band?
We couldn't sell candy for camp this year.
Why not? You sold it last year.
I know, but the rats ate half of it.
I give up on you. You're a lost cause.
And so is this school.
Things will get better in time.
Yeah, in a long time.
Well, they will get better.
It won't matter to me.
Why not?
I'll be gone.
Kevin, can I be totally honest with you?
Sure.
There are some things that I don't like about this school either.
What is it that you don't like?
I don't like that the year's over already and I'm leaving my friends. Bye, Kevin.
Bye, Carrie.
And now for the musical part of our program. In our first number, some of our seniors go back in time for a medley from the movie Grease.